Greetings, plebs. I realized something. Actually, I realized many things, but I realized something in particular. First of all, I said that I would start making a lot more YouTube content. Well, I said that to people. And because of the lack of Guild Wars-ness going on, like, assuming that there's no tournament happening anytime soon, my team is not playing Guild Wars, so I'm not creating regular content there. And we're right now, as long as there's like no new game coming out or any new tournaments coming out in Guild Wars like anytime soon, then we're just gonna keep tryharding in Smite, and I'll start producing Smite content when I'm actually at a good enough level to do that. It's getting better constantly and all that stuff, and it's not gonna be too long until I can actually do that. However, in the meantime, I still need to make content. It's been a little difficult for me to stream regularly because, well, I've been working and it's been hard for me to balance the time, and I had to sacrifice the time somewhere. Out of all the activities I do, I decided to sacrifice streaming, because streaming while exhausted and slightly confused of what to do and such, it's the least productive of all the things. And the only real hit I take is like subscriptions and such, and that's something I take, which is fine, you know. But I still want to do something with my audience and shit, right? Which is, I decided to start YouTubing a little bit more. And that's what I'm doing now, of course. And I realize also that you should stand when you're doing the YouTube. You know, you look at all the YouTubers out there. Look at PewDiePie, right? Like, PewDiePie is earning millions, and he stands and he makes videos. That's the secret. That's the only secret that happens. Anyway, actually, jump cut is the other secret, but I'm not going to do that. It takes too much effort. So I decided to make a video, and this is something I wanted to do a while back. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish this off now. I actually did record this exact video. Well, I don't know, it was like 2 weeks ago or so. And it was pretty fucking hilarious because I pressed record, and right as I pressed record, I pressed stop recording, and then I recorded the entire video. And also, it was really long-winded. It's not going to be as long-winded this time, but it was really long-winded. That's like 15, 20 minutes or something like that. Maybe like of just pure talking, and on top of the intro and the outro and all that stuff. It was like, I don't know, like 30 minutes or something of just blabber. And then when I finished it, I realized I just hit, record. So I was just fucking idiot, you know. Anyway, we're gonna get right into the video right now. Cue flashy intro that doesn't exist, so we're gonna ignore that. Just imagine this. Okay, cool. So we're gonna talk about the steps you need to take to become the best in your game. The very best in your game. The best in the world. And these steps are applicable to anyone, absolutely anyone. Who wants to become better. And you don't have to have the goal of being best in the world, but certainly if you employ these steps, depending on how seriously you take them, you might go from bronze to silver or silver to challenger. It's entirely up to you. And I'm just going to mention the goals right now, the glaring errors I see of other people that try to become good at games. See, I've been good at many fucking games, right? Like, I've been top 100 in StarCraft 2. I've been on the top of Europe in Warcraft. I've been good in like no-name games as well. Like, I was a motherfucker in Jedi Knight Outcast, alright? Of course, nobody gives a fuck about that, but I was one of the very best to do it there. And of course, professional gamer in Guild Wars and all that crap, you know. Oh yeah, I was top 100 League of Legends as well. So, I mean, basically, I have a resume of being fucking good at games, right? And I feel like one of the glaring errors that people do, and some of the things that I did right in becoming good, are some steps that I'll outline in this video. And I'm just going to get into it right now. Make no mistake, you can be a professional gamer in your game right now. You could be you could be rank 2 right now, and one of these steps might be what's keeping you from rank 1. And I'm dead serious. I'm dead serious right now. Dead fucking serious. Because I talk to pro gamers and all that stuff, and I've seen them employ the exact same mistakes here as others do. So I'm just gonna get into it. Step number 1. Do you watch? Let's say you play League of Legends. You play Guild Wars, for instance, or you play CSGO or anything like that. Do you go on the official forums? I bet you do, right? You go on the official forums. You go on the official forums, don't you? Oh my god, he goes on the official forums. Listen to this guy. Do you talk to your friends that are all silver and all that stuff about League of Legends, and you're all like wallowing in your pity party about how bad your Russian teammates are and all that stuff? All right, well, congratulations. What you're doing is essentially forcing yourself in that that cesspool of negativity in that conversation, and you're just surrounding yourself with a bunch of people that are stuck in the same position as you are. Now, I'm not saying don't talk games with your friends, but realize that when you make your entire community, like when all of the people you talk to about the game that you're trying to get better at are the people online, on forums, official forums. Make no mistake, 99.99% of the people on official forums are whining crybabies that suck at the game. That's how it is in every game. Make no mistake, every game is like that. You look at the form post, and I can give you a set formula of how the form posts are. Step one, number one rather. Balance complaints. Always. There's always balance complaints for these people. They're so bad that it doesn't matter if it's a good player. That good player could have had the worst character in the game and still beat them. That doesn't matter. They're still complaining about balance right now. And if only their bad character, if only that OP character wasn't around, I'm sure they would be in much better rating, right? Like, there's that. There's the whining about teammates, whining about matchmaking, whining about all the things that better players can handle every single time and succeed in. Losers whine and complain, and when you go on the forums and all you get is that negativity, when you lose, you're going to have the first impression of the game, and you're going to wallow in that negativity as well. Instead of when it's a game when you could have done something better yourself, you could have done something better, and you could have acknowledged that you could have done something better and found out what you need to improve upon, you're going to instantly go into the mindset of the people that you hang around with, which is a bunch of losers whining about how impossible it is because it's all RNG, or that build is gay, or whatever the hell it is in your game. That character is gay, that matchup is gay. Whatever it is that the people whine about. As long as you join that conversation, you're not going to improve. There's so many things that people had no fucking clue about. And I will make I'm going to own up to a mistake I did. I played Undead in Warcraft 3. Now, anyone who played Undead in Warcraft 3 knows how hard we got decked by Orc. Motherfucking Blade Master. Am I right? I'm sure that right now if you're going to forum, even though Warcraft 3 is a dead game, you're going to see complaints about Blade Master. Because fuck Blade Master. Fuck him, right? You're trying to creep and motherfucking fuck Blade Master, right? You look at that shit, that mentality. I just whined about Orc and all that stuff, and I just complained about Orc. Orc was an awful matchup for me. I just hated it. I hated it, and eventually I was like, well, there's no point to this game. And I of course, StarCraft 2 came out, and I was like, great, I'm getting away from Orc and all that stuff. And then you look at the latest Warcraft 3 lands, like all these years later and all that stuff. You know what happened? Like no patches or anything like that to save the game. Undead won the tournament for like the first time ever, because the pros went away from just whining and crying about how impossible it was, or changing race for specific players, and changing race entirely, and just dodging matchups, and just giving up on the game. A lot of Undead pros just quit, and now we had an Undead pro winning, dominating Orcs and all that stuff. We went this Banshee strat, which was just barely explored earlier, and he smacked that bitch. I can give you infinite amounts of suggestions on these matchups and such in different games, in all that stuff. It doesn't matter. What I'm trying to get at is, of course, there's certain matchups and such that are impossible, but if you have a constructive attitude of improvement, you're always going to get better than whining. And if you hang around with losers that whine, aka every single official forum ever, every single map chat, official chat ever, looking at your team's chat unless you're actually at good levels, all that stuff, you're just going down. It's all negative. All of it. Number 2. This is related. I guess I should mention that all of these steps, before you make these steps, you should make a goal to yourself. You should set a goal to yourself. How good do you want to be? If you're number 2 in the world, you need to become number 1, right? So then you put every single perspective into the perspective of the number 1. So now let's say that you're silver and you're aiming for master. You're silver, aiming for master. Well, then you need to look at master players, and you need to always look at the perspective of the master player and learn from there. Watch streams, watch the better players and all that stuff. This is something that in the game of Guild Wars, a lot of people didn't own up to, right? Like, my opponents pretty much hated me, right? I made that a thing. Like, people didn't want to watch my stream because I was so arrogant, right? So they didn't watch me. Well, not everyone did, right? So I was ahead of them, and they didn't take it seriously enough to actually analyze my play. And what happens then? Well, they're trying to catch up with a player that's better than them on their own accord, and that's always harder than just studying the people that are better than you. See, that's relevant for top play. If you're a top player in your game, and there's another opponent, usually there's this rivalry thing where what's going on, where you don't really want to acknowledge that he's better than you. You have all the Joseph Johns when you're losing and all that stuff. Accept the fact that he's better and study harder, work harder, and you'll catch up with him. And putting that away from the pro's perspective, if you're just a silver scrub and your goal is to become master, then look at the perspective of a master player and just learn from him. Every step, everything you do compared to him is worse, right? So you just need to become better than him. And it's definitely possible. As long as if you replicate every single move that he does, then you're playing as a master, right? So the more you learn from better players, the more you're gonna improve yourself. That's just how it is. That's just how it is. But I want to get into step 3 that you need to note, that a lot of you fuckers need to note. If a top player, like me, I have some videos right now on my channel where I play Power Mesmer, for instance, in Guild Wars. It's a shit build, absolutely horrible, useless, and I just dominate with it. And I stream with it and all that stuff. You know what happens when I stream with it? I see it everywhere. People are playing it everywhere. If you're not a top player, then don't play what the top players troll as. Take their serious stuff. Don't play a useless build trying to style on people just so you can have an excuse when you lose, because that's essentially what it is. The top player is doing it at the request of his chat, or because he wants to make some specific content, or maybe because he's already really good and he just wants to have some fun. But if your genuine goal is for improvement, then don't waste time playing bad builds. You can have that luxury when you're actually good at the game, because right now you're trash, right? And that applies as well. Like if you're second place and you're playing a worse build or a worse strategy versus your opponent, and you refuse to change it because of stubbornness, it doesn't have to even be a copy of him, right? You have your own style and all that stuff. That comes into the next style. Don't make your own builds. Don't make your own strategies. Copy what works. Copy what works every single time, and do it better. Evolve upon the things that are the best, and just evolve from there. Don't play your own style versus someone that's better than you. See, I see this a lot, and I'm gonna make an example. From someone who I'm a fan of. Mango from Smash Bros. See, Mango's amazing. Mango's even loved for this, even though it's stupid. Mango will be Mango forever. If you don't watch Smash, let me explain real quick. Mango plays insanely aggressively, stupidly aggressively, insanely stupidly aggressively. He just rushes in all the time. That's all he does. He just surges. And he's really good at it. Like, he's a top player. He's won all sorts of nationals and all that stuff. But if you compare his matchups with like Armada, who's the best player in the world, and you look at how well he does, for instance, versus Hungrybox or whatever players you look at, you'll see that Armada does better every single time. Despite that, no matter how badly it goes for Mango, he still insists on playing in his own style. Now, this is keeping him lower and lower. He's the one that loses all the most upsets. People are only catching up to him. People are only slipping away from him, and it all turns into a, well, if Mango has an amazing day, he can beat everyone. Instead of, oh, Mango is amazing, he can beat everyone, he's beating everyone, like Armada is, he's beating everyone. Mango needs to have an amazing day to beat everyone. And that could, on the flip side, people only look at the amazingness of Mango because they're fans of him and his style. But on the other hand, it might just be someone else having an off day, because consistently he's losing. And he's going to keep losing consistently as long as he does his thing and refuses to follow the best people and then evolve upon that. I'm not saying he should drop everything that he does, because he does a lot of things right, but he should copy the people that are better than him, and then evolve upon that. Now, putting it into the pleb perspective, we touched on the pro perspective, we're going to look at the pleb perspective. Motherfucker, what are you doing? All of you people, what are you doing? Because I see you people right now, I see the CSGO player right there. The Silver Nova CSGO player who's playing with a Scout right now. And the Scout is your main weapon. You refuse to play another weapon than the Scout. You're a fucking idiot. I see the League of Legends player. Now, I haven't played League of Legends forever, but I can tell you for sure that Soraka mid as an offensive carry is not what you should be playing. I don't care how many balance patches happened. That's not a thing. Yet I've still seen people play it. See, I worked in an internet cafe. I've seen that shit. It's always stupid. It's always stupid. I don't care what happens with the metagame. Don't play Soraka offensively. Don't. The same applies to any other game. Don't make your own build and play that if your actual goal is to improve. Because all you're doing is hampering yourself. There's limitations on weaker builds. The best builds, the best strategies, the best options in every single game, the best thing about them is that they're versatile. The reason they're the best is because they can apply... What pros care about is consistency, right? They want to consistently be able to outplay everyone in the matches. When you play a stupid thing, then realistically speaking, you have less options and you have less opportunity to outplay people. So you're not improving and you're not having better win ratio. You're literally just wasting your own time with that shit. And again, if you just want to waste time, play the game, and not get good at it, that's fine. That's fine. That's your prerogative, and that's completely fine. Just realize that if your actual goal is to improve and reach a certain goal of a rating or whatever, then when you play a shitty build And you eventually go like, oh, well, I could be good if I was a lame and I play the meta builds, but I don't want to play them because they're lame. All you're saying to the ears of someone that actually succeeds, all we hear is, I'm a loser. That's your voice right there. Okay? Drop it. Like, just drop it. Next step. Honestly, I'm sure I missed a step because this was completely unscripted. At least I wrote down the steps last time. But you know what? I'll just get to the most important step. The very most important step. I'll put it out for you because this video is actually getting pretty long anyway. 50 minutes. That's not good. The most important step of all, the one you should care about the most, is this. And I want you to hear me out. Accept the fact that you're not good. Accept it, that you're not good. That you're, right now, whatever you're doing is not good enough. Accept it, own it. Why? Because if your goal as a bronze player is to reach a master's level, okay, then 99% of your games is all your fault. They're all your fault. What you need to do is you need to take someone, you take a pro in League of Legends, for instance, and you compare yourself to him, his gameplay. You compare your gameplay. And you should realize that every single game this master guy played, he would have won when you lost, you know? He would have most there might have been one game or so, you know, like a 1 in 20 games where you lost, where he would have also lost. But in all those other games, this guy would have stomped and dominated and won. Yet still, despite that being your goal, and despite the fact that that's true, you're going to be blaming your team when you lost. It's your team's fault that you lost. That's an idiotic idea to have. It's absolutely idiotic. You're not going to learn anything from blaming anyone else. Ever. Every single game, you should approach the fact that you're not good enough, and it's your fault, and what you can improve from it. This is something that a lot of people take offense to. They actually take offense to the idea that they can look at things and they need to improve upon them. But it's actually a liberating idea. Because when you look at this, when you look at every game being your fault, and the fact that you could have done something to win this game, whether it was a play on your own and all that stuff, and it doesn't even have to be saving the game. It could just be playing better, you know? Maybe even if you played flawlessly, you wouldn't have won that game, but you sure as hell would have played better. And if you can identify what you did wrong, if you can identify the times you died in a League of Legends game, or a Guild Wars game, or a CSGO game, or any game, you know? Every single time you died, would someone else who's better than me have been able to survive at this point? Did I tilt at this point? Did I watch 3 of my teammates die, get angry, go into them while I knew I would die myself because 3 of my teammates are dead? Could I have been there earlier? Could I have predicted the fact that they would have gone in and killed themselves, judging by the fact how they played the entire time? And could I have come in there and saved the fight? Even if I couldn't save the fight, could I have gotten out there instead of going in there and died? Every single step, you should analyze yourself. And when you do that, when you realize that you're not good enough, and you approach every single scenario like that, you're gonna find so much improvement. I myself, being a top player and all that stuff, every single game, like even if I had complete idiots on my team, absolute morons, right? Glue sniffers, I would say, cacti, I would look at this and I would look at my opponent and I would get annoyed. I would be like, oh my god, they're so bad. My teammates are so bad. Look at this time he died versus this. Oh my god, he did this. And then at the end of every single game, if you're a watcher of my stream, you know this is true. At the end of every single game, with 99.99% percentage of games, I would say, I should have won that game, dude. I should have won the game. At this point, I should have done this. I could have won that 1v2. Oh my god, they're so bad, so I should have easily been able to survive here. Like, every single game, you should approach the game as if you're the best player in the game. If your goal is to become the best, then your standards for yourself should be that you're the best, right? So every single game, whenever you as the best player, if you lost a 1v1 at any point in time, if you lost your lane, if you lost a team fight, if you missed a skill, every single thing that you could have done wrong, it's your fault. You could have changed the game. You could have carried the game. And when you look at the game like that, when you analyze every single game like that, that's how you improve. That's how you get out of elo hell. That's how you get into the top bracket. That's how you beat that one player that keeps beating you in tournament. If you stop looking at the outside factors and you accept that there's things holding you back and you can truthfully analyze them in an objective manner of just self-criticism, because self-criticism is the only thing you can control. You can look at yourself and you can be like, oh, well, I need to improve this for next time. You cannot look at your teammate and fix his gameplay for next time. You can't, unless you're in a team with him. And in that case, it's still his responsibility to fix that. You need to sort yourself out. Nothing else. Fuck, I haven't lost track of how many steps this was. This was super unscripted, but here's the deal. I've been working like a motherfucker. I'm tired. I'm gonna go to bed and wake up at 7 a.m. And I just wanted to get this video done. And I figured that if I didn't get it done now, I would never get it done. Fuck, I forgot to add music to it. You know, I could have had some. Oh, whatever. Anyway, let me make a quick. And everyone already knows it and all that stuff with Twitch and all that stuff, but I'm gonna make it very clear. I'm gonna say it very clearly to everyone. Everyone that watches this, all of you. If Guild Wars 2 doesn't have any tournaments in time, so like, let's say 6 months, and there's no new game that pops out that grabs my team's and mine attention, then my team is going to be in the Pro League of Smite. It's gonna happen. Mark my fucking words. Oh, I can see the naysayers. Oh, Helseth, that's not how it works. You can't be good in another game just because we're gonna win it. Listen. I can be good at how many things I want, okay? I was good at seducing your mother and I became good at selling Guild Wars. That's 2 different things, alright? One more isn't gonna hurt me. Suck a dick. It's always gonna be a difference between peasants and kings. I'll be back for next video. Peace.